Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams yet again for another Vlogmas video. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different that I don't do on my main channel, but it is something that I have done all year for my patrons, and that is a spoilery reaction vlog as I read our book club book. So I'm going to give you all a sneak peek into that type of a video as I talk about The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. This was my patron book club book for the month of December. And I will just real quick at the beginning here tell you a little bit about the book and what I thought about it that's non-spoilery. And then when I start to go into the clips, you'll know that that part is going to be spoilery because I will stop throughout the book and share my thoughts along the way. This is a YA, and it is a retelling sort of A Christmas Carol. It's very connected to A Christmas Carol. At the very beginning, we meet Holly Chase, and she's our Scrooge character. She's rotten. She's very self-centered and selfish, very mean to the people around her. She kind of breaks up with her best friend because they are just going down different paths. She's very concerned with how she looks and how many followers and likes she's getting. And she kind of has this voice of her stepmom in her head that's helping her to be this focused on herself type of a person that she's become. She's mean to her housekeeper. She's mean to her friends. She's just kind of an annoying, spoiled little rich girl, which, if you think about the story of A Christmas Carol, that is Scrooge. Spoiled and mean and selfish and very focused on money. So it's a very good connection that we have there, even though it was a little annoying. Once we meet Holly and get to see a little bit of her character, she has this experience that's very similar to A Christmas Carol, where her stepmother shows up. That's the That's the Jacob Marley character. And her stepmother shows up and says she's going to be meeting these ghosts and she needs to take stock of her life and reevaluate how she treats other people and what her values are. And Holly just kind of rolls her eyes through the whole thing. She doesn't believe it. She is still very stuck in her ways. This is kind of her last chance. And if she doesn't change her ways, then she's going to die. Well, she doesn't change her ways and she dies. This is all at the very beginning, because once she dies, because she is a failed Scrooge, she is forced to become part of Project Scrooge, which is this company who picks a Scrooge and gives them this A Christmas Carol experience in hopes of changing this person's perspective and attitude and life. And so Holly becomes the ghost of Christmas past for other people. Throughout the book, we kind of see Holly's character arc as she tries to help other people change their ways, and she herself is not really changing that much until one of the Scrooges that they start to work on has a lot in common with Holly, and she starts to see things in a different way. I thought that this book was super clever, and I loved all the nods to A Christmas Carol. It is very YA. There is a romance in here that's kind of love at first sight type of a thing, and it's just because he's so hot that she pursues a relationship. I loved the friend that's in here. I loved Project Scrooge and how it was all set up, and I just thought it was super clever. There were a couple storylines that I wasn't quite sure what was going on, so it was fun to try to figure that out as I was reading. It's not a book that blew my mind by any means, but I did think it was very clever and very fun, and a Christmas book that I would be willing to read again. Maybe not next year, but in a few years, I would come back and revisit this. I thought it was great. Oh, and I did listen to it on audio, and I absolutely loved the audiobook of it. So that is The Afterlife of Holly Chase. If you're looking for a Christmas read, I would recommend picking this up. And if you're interested in seeing my thoughts about the book as I was reading, stay tuned for the spoilery vlog. Hello, friends. Once again, I am waiting until the last minute to get started on our book club book. It is Tuesday, and our conversation is going to be on Sunday. But I don't think that this is going to take very long, and I am going to start it on audio. So I'm starting The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. The only thing that I really know about it is that it's a Scrooge or Christmas Carol retelling. And I've heard that the main character, Holly Chase, starts out being pretty angsty, like the stereotypical YA teenage angst is a big part of the beginning of this, but I have heard that it has a pretty good character arc. So I'm hoping to not get so annoyed with her at the beginning, but just push through and know that she's going to have a good arc throughout the story. So that's what I'm hoping. But that's all I really know about it. So I'm going to get started listening to the audio today. I'm not sure how far I will get. The little dude that I watch is sleeping right now. I just got caught up on all my comments, and now I'm going to start reading. I put my computer away so that I can get started reading. Might actually start in print. We'll see. Okay, I just read that very first part up until I decided to go with audio so that I can play Happy Color. But up until it says 5 years later. So I don't know what chapter it is or anything, but Holly certainly is annoying. She's kind of a horrible teenager. And it was a little bit abrupt when she was in her room and her mom showed up first, and then we kind of just jumped right into the ghosts. And I feel like, wait a minute, did I miss something? It was a little bit abrupt, but I'm wondering if I did push a button. I should go back and check. But now she's actually working for Project Scrooge, and it'll be interesting to see how that pans out for her. We know it's at least 5 years because the next section starts off with 5 years later. So I'm hoping she really does learn a lesson. It is a little bit more realistic than Scrooge that it took. I mean, it was kind of amazing that he changed his whole personality in one night, right? Like he saw the scenes and the visions of the Christmas Carol, like the 3 ghosts that showed him the different things, and then realized the error of his ways. And she just took the whole thing as a joke. I just wanted to punch her. Like, you're an idiot. Who cares how many Instagram followers you have if you treat the people around you horribly? But she was awful. So I'm interested. I'm not loving it right off the bat, but I am interested. So I'm going to keep listening. I just laughed because Holly is explaining about the business or whatever to her new assistant, and the girl was like, oh, and she said, we here in New York, we cover all of the United States. And the assistant said, well, what about Canada? And Holly's like, there's never been a Scrooge in Canada. I thought all of my Canadian friends would appreciate that. No Scrooges in Canada. Cheers, friends. Okay, I need to stop for now because it's time for me to go wake up the little dude. But I just finished chapter 4, I believe, and we got the first glimpse of a little bit of remorse from Holly. They're looking at this new hot guy that is going to be the next Scrooge, and they're explaining about how they're going to get information about him and all of that. And she's like, she was wondering what it is that he's going to do. Is he going to change or no? And then she says, is he going to do what I did and totally ignore all of this? Or is he going to do what I should have done and change? So I was like, oh, there's a little tiny bit of her that realizes who she was before, because we haven't really seen any kind of remorse or realization of what she was before, even though it's been years later. Like, even as she's being the ghost of Christmas past, she's not convinced or something. I don't know. She's an interesting, annoying character. I'm excited to see how she changes. But right now it's very, very YA feeling, especially as she's learning about this new hot guy. And it's okay that he's trash talking. They're just playing sports and not really still understanding compassion and kindness at all. So I'm hoping to see some growth in those areas as we keep going. But I need to stop now because it's time for me to go get the little dude up. Hi, friends. I am sitting in my kitchen. I just ate some dinner and I'm working on my puzzle. I've got pieces in my hand and the picture sitting here. I'll show you in a second, but I just finished chapter 10. Holly has kind of broken protocol and went and met the Scrooge at the athletic club and talked to him at the pool, and she's very attracted to him and he seemed to connect with her. And then as she was leaving to go home, she kind of overhears Roz or Boz, and I keep saying Deadpool. I know it's not Deadpool, but the Ghost of Christmas Future. And she overheard them talking in an office, and they were talking about how they were doing something a little bit different. One of them wasn't very happy about it. They were taking a risk. And I think, I'm making a guess here, right? I think Holly meeting the Scrooge in person, they know about it. And it's like part of a plan to hopefully get through to Holly's heart. That's what I'm thinking. I think she thinks she's being super sneaky. She knows she's going to meet him again. But I think they know about it. And I think that that was kind of the reason for choosing this Scrooge, to be able to break through to Holly. Because there's a lot of overlap. They both have lost a parent. Oh, and she's convinced that the dad is the Cratchit? Oh no, the sister. She thinks the dad is the sister. I forget the name of the sister in A Christmas Carol, who loves unconditionally. But I think the sister is the sister. I think, I can't remember his name. Dave, the Scrooge. I think his sister is the one who loves him unconditionally, and their relationship breaking up somehow is what pushed him over the edge. I don't think it's the dad's death. I mean, I think that that's impactful for sure, but I think there's something about his sister Jack, I think he called her in his memories. So I'm enjoying it a lot now, very much. I love the way the Scrooge project works, where they have to find different people in different moments in their life that match up with A Christmas Carol. I think that that's such a cool idea. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm at I just finished chapter 10, but I need to stop now and get ready because I'm going to play volleyball tonight. So I'll keep listening while I'm going to finish this handful of puzzle pieces. This is how I puzzle. Let me show you what I've got done so far, just for the fun of it. So I'm working on this one, the bookstore. There's like all these little vignettes. So the first thing I did was pull out all these red ones, and I did the words first and the words for books, and then I filled in all the red. And then I'm trying to not show you the rest of my kitchen. Well, let me just show you. My kitchen table is a hot mess right now. I really need to clean my kitchen. Oh, but then I kind of pull pieces that I can look at that picture and kind of put in the general area. So I found the little tree area. I have like the elevator door here, started the elevator door here. I know there's a table up here and there's a big chair here with people reading. So I'm kind of putting things where I find them. So that's how I puzzle. Do you guys puzzle a different way? Let me know. I'm back at my puzzle, but it's 10:30 and I need to go to bed. But I'm very invested in this story, and I know I only have 3.5 hours left. I'm most curious at the moment about Stephanie, the assistant. What's her deal? Why was she hugging David Copperfield? Like, they have had these little conversations, and I'm not sure what's going on there. Very curious. And I like that Holly is starting to ask about her own time as a Scrooge and starting to reflect on that a little bit. I can definitely see some changes in her. I'm just really enjoying this story overall. Yeah, it's just really fun the way that it all connects with A Christmas Carol. Yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. So I had fun at volleyball. I'm back to working on my puzzle, but I need to go to bed soon. So I probably will listen to maybe one more chapter and then I need to hit the hay. But I will definitely finish this book tomorrow. And now I'm like, is Ethan going to become part of the Scrooge? No, he's not. Like, they just said his potential, or the ghost of Christmas future, the one who can see the future, can't really see the future now for him. So I'm like, oh man, Holly really changed everything when she got him to not go to the ball. Potential, like, president of the United States? What? I thought that was kind of funny. But there's a lot of potential in him now that they see. And I'm curious to see how it's all going to end, how it's all going to wrap up. I mean, Holly's dead. So she doesn't have a real future with Ethan. And she seems to be forgetting that fact. I'm not forgetting it. Like, I get that you have a crush on this guy and that you're connecting with him, but you're dead. You're basically a zombie. Right? Undead. Oh my word. Yeah, it's a strange book, but it's fun. I'm enjoying it. All right, we're in the home stretch. I'm at work. Both girls are napping. And I have about, I think, 2 hours, left on the audiobook, but I'm listening at 1.8 speed. Holly just learned that Stephanie had been studying her for some reason. She assumed it was for a psychology project for school. I don't think that's the real reason, but it really threw Holly for a loop. She was very upset about it. And so her reaction was to tell Stephanie her clothes were horrible and she needed to look more professional. And I was just kind of sad to see her fall back into those tendencies. I mean, very realistic. When we get hurt, we tend to lash out in general. Not everybody, but that is it felt like a very normal reaction, sadly. Something that was not unexpected for Holly. But she was just really sad about it. I don't know what her end game is with Ethan. I was hopeful when she had kind of the conversation with herself, imagining what Ro would say when she went to Ro's house to just kind of see her one more time. But in her mind was imagining what Ro would say about this relationship that can't really be a relationship. And he doesn't really know her. He doesn't even know her real name. She's dead, so nothing can really happen. And so I was kind of hopeful, like she was realizing or acknowledging the truth of the lack of a future that they really do have together, but she's still determined to press forward. So I'm like, in a way that's very selfish of her. So I don't know where that's going to go, but I was hopeful there that she would kind of stop, but she can't stop. She's just in love. So we'll see. I'm going to finish it probably right now, and I'll come on at the end and share my final thoughts, unless there's something that I need to talk about before we get to the end. But I'm going to keep listening. Maybe Dave is Stephanie's dad. Holly just is remembering they're about to start the night, the Scrooge event with Ethan. But Holly was just remembering when she saw Dave and Stephanie hugging and he kissed the top of her head. And she's thinking that there's something romantic there. She's like, wait, she's with Grant. I'm like, no, I bet you he's her dad. But how did she get to go in there? Because Dave is one of the other failed Scrooges, just like Holly. So somehow Stephanie just gets this extra time. But Dave is leaving. Maybe that's like a perk of leaving. You get to reconnect with somebody from your past when you were alive. I don't know, but that's my current thought. So I have finished listening to The Afterlife of Holly Chase. I kind of like read and listened at the end. I was right that Dave and Stephanie were related. I knew that there was nothing romantic there. I was kind of confused a couple times during like the final climactic scene when everything was going down with Ethan and she rushes back in because she knew she could make the difference. And then the whole thing's a dream? What? I was a little confused about that. Was it all a dream? Did it all happen at all? Or was it just kind of like A Christmas Carol, just a dream? I mean, it makes sense. Or were they able to manipulate time? Because she woke up and it was back on Christmas Day, 5 years previously. So I guess it was all a dream. What? That's crazy. But it makes sense because this is a retelling. I do love how in the end she finally made that change and was able to think of somebody else and their needs above her own. And the final scene of A Christmas Carol is just so wonderful when Scrooge throws open the shutter and orders the big turkey for Bob Cratchit, and just goes sledding down the hill, like all the little moments at the end. And I think this book did a great job with some of those moments where she gave her housekeeper the day off and then was like, no, bring your daughter and come have Christmas here. And then she had that reunion type of conversation with her father and made plans to see him. And then also when she realized that she could make such a big difference in Ethan's life. I mean, he's only 12 years old now, so she had to give up any idea of a romantic relationship with him. But 12 years old is when his dad passed away, so she knew how that happened because she had been in his memories, so she was able to go and change history ultimately because it hadn't happened yet. And she was able to go talk to the homeless man on the street and delay the dad and just change everything up, which I thought was super cool. I did find it interesting that she tried to go find Project Scrooge and nothing was there, but then in the movie theater, Boz came and talked to her. So I loved that kind of bit of closure that she got. So yeah, I just thought that this was a lovely story. I had a lot of fun reading it. Again, at the very beginning, I was so annoyed with Holly Chase, but aren't you annoyed with Scrooge when you read A Christmas Carol too? He's awful, and so was she. But I thought the connections between this one and A Christmas Carol were fantastic. And I thought it was well done. I thought that she had a good character arc. It was definitely YA. The whole romance aspect of things, I just didn't really care for really at all. But I thought Project Scrooge, the aspects about Project Scrooge and how that all worked and how they looked through memories to find each of the different characters and the moments in the Scrooge's life to help create an atmosphere, to create a connection of memories that will help that person to change. I just think that whole idea is super cool. So I think I'm going to land on 4 stars for this one. It was good, but not great. And so that is going to be it for this one. So I hope that you enjoyed my reactions of this one, and I'll be talking to you soon. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my thoughts about The Afterlife of Holly Chase. I hope that you enjoyed this type of a video. If you're interested in getting more videos like this, consider maybe becoming a patron. My link is in the description box below. I absolutely love my patrons and the community that is built over there. We have lots of opportunities to connect on Zoom and read together and share together, and it's just I'm just so incredibly thankful for each of you who have chosen to spend some of your monies in supporting me and my channel. I really, really, truly appreciate you and love getting to know you over this past year. So again, pick up Holly Chase, The Afterlife of Holly Chase. If you're looking for a Christmas read, consider becoming a patron. Let's chat down in the comments below. You guys know I love talking with you down there, and I'll be talking to you in another video very soon, like tomorrow. Bye.